What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is another week with Ivy Nicole, and this is She Evolves. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you want to check me out, just go to Ivy Nicole. Y'all don't forget the H is Nichole. It ain't no E in my first name. Just straight up IVYNICHOLE.com. Again, that is IVYNICHOLE.com. You can follow me across all social media platforms. So today we are kind of going to get into the whole aspect of she's a daddy's girl, especially because Father's Day is right around the corner. It's coming up this Sunday. So we often acknowledge the mothers in the game, the mother who have raised kids and whatnot. And we really don't get the opportunity to really focus on fatherhood and what that looks like and what it represents. But this is She Evolved, so it is all about the evolution of a woman. But in this case, the evolution of a girl and how she evolves into a woman. So we are going to actually get into the importance of the father role in a young girl's life. So we got Minister Jay on the other side of this screen. What up, though? Introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Minister Jay, born and raised right here in Detroit. I'm a father of three girls. I have a wife. I have a granddaughter. So I think I have a little bit experience in dealing with fatherhood. I have two sons as well. But since we're speaking about the girls, I'm going to call them out: Christian, Faith, and Mercy. Those are my daughter's names, and they are very important to me. Very, very, very important. Sweetest thing in the world.
All right, so it is a rule of thumb that we get all into your business. Just a little bit. Just a
A little
little
bit.
bit. Just a little bit. Who are you? Who are you, Minister Jay? Just let the viewers
Well,
know who you are and what you do.
like I say, I'm born and raised here in the city of Detroit. I had my oldest child, my eldest child, when I was 19 years old. My oldest child is a girl. She'll be 34 years old. I was 19 years old. Started being a father early. There's no need of me trying to keep it a secret. I ran the streets like a lot of people, but I had to grow up fast because I was a father, and I would like to say, being a husband and a father, I think that's who I am today. That's what I like to claim. Doesn't necessarily mean who I've always been, because I was not always a husband and father. But those are my most important jobs and titles. Other than being an ordained minister, and trying to do God's work, I have to do my work as well. And that's being a father and a husband. And I try to use the skills I'm taught through the ministry to be a better father and a husband at all times. That's what I like to say. I'm also a grandfather. I have three boys and one granddaughter, and she seems to be the boss of everybody. My 4-year-old granddaughter tells everybody what to do. So I'm relearning on being how to listen to ladies, even though she's a little girl. How to listen to the ladies. She teaches me a lot at 4 years old, believe it or not.
Okay. How old are your other daughters?
My oldest daughter is 34.
Mm-hmm.
My next daughter is 23, and my last daughter is 13. She'll be 14 in September, and my
Okay.
granddaughter is 4.
So I'm gonna just get straight to the point. When we're talking about she's a daddy's girl, right? That could go either way. Um,
Yes.
she could be a daddy's girl in the whole aspect of, daddy treat her right, daddy show her the ropes, um,
Hmm.
daddy is the king, daddy treats her like a princess. So initially, what happens? She will grow up and typically expect that same type of respect from other men. On
Absolutely. Yeah.
the side, if daddy is not all of these great qualities,
Oof.
then what happens? Then this is what she attracts to. So either way it goes, she attracts um what the father emulates.
Right, right. Well, either what the father is or what he is not. And
Yeah,
I definitely
if
agree.
your dad
Yeah.
if your dad is abusive, beating on your mom, you in a little girl's mind, if she's seen that, um, she will have the expectation, or she will start to believe that this behavior
Yes,
is
this
okay.
is normal. Yeah, this is normal.
She's
It's okay. Yeah, yeah.
right.
You have to be,
I'm gonna
in my
ask.
opinion,
Hmm?
you have to be careful of everything you say and do. And I don't always get it right. I want, because I'm hoping and praying they're watching, and I want them to know Daddy doesn't always get it right. And I tell them something that I've learned that older people have said. Take the meat and throw away the bones. The good part of Dad, I want them to take and expect that out of any man they run into, any man they deal with on a regular basis, and the parts where Dad didn't get it right, charge it to my head and not my heart, because my girls, whether it be my wife, my daughters, or my granddaughter, are the most important things to me in my life. I mean, I want them to see the best part of Dad and run with that, and what didn't turn out right, what wasn't perfect, to let it go, and like I said, and charge to my head, not my heart.
Okay, so I want to back up a little bit. In the beginning, you kind of said, you wasn't always that father. So did your girls initially force you to grow up? Well, your first daughter, rather. Did she
Yeah, my
kind
first daughter, right, she was I mean, she was Daddy's little girl too. And at first I was so young, I was 19 years old. I didn't, trying to be a father and a husband at 19. I mean, being a husband and a father at I'm 52 now. It's still not
of?
easy. So you can imagine at 19, it was like being on another planet. I loved them both, but I didn't really know. And I grew up without a father, first and foremost, let me say that. My father was partially in my life, but not enough. My father was one of those type of fathers who would just give you the pure basics. How you doing in school? Oh, I'm doing okay, Dad. Cool. He didn't ask any questions. You listen to your mom, yeah, I'm listening to mom. And I was lying. And he didn't know, because my mom and my dad didn't have good communication. So I could tell him what I wanted to tell him, and he just dealt with it. So I didn't have a roadmap on how to be a father. So I tried to be a better father, more concerned and more in detail. But at the same time, I was still learning who I was. At 19 years old, I was still learning who I was. And I made a lot of mistakes. And I still ask for forgiveness from my daughter. And she's a grown woman. She has two children of her own. And I apologize on a regular basis. Hey, I'm sorry for what I may have lacked when I wasn't there, when I didn't value some of that time that was really, really important. And hopefully she forgives me. And I learned better with each child. And sometimes you have to be afraid that the older children won't get upset with you because you're trying to be a better father for the younger ones. And I constantly explain that too. Now that I'm older and running around, hanging around is not as important, nowhere near as important as family is. I'm gonna seem like I care more about the younger children than the older, because I'm different, because I'm there now. But I tell them I'm an old man, I'm tired. I can't run the streets like I used to.
You running
So
streets
I'm
no
at
more?
home. I'm at home more. So I try to, I hope everybody understands, because I like to communicate, and I think that's key.
Okay. So let's talk about the relationships that you have with your other daughters. Especially the youngest one. Because she's 14, you said?
Yeah, she'll be 14 in September. Yeah, and seem like she's going on 24. She's changing, between 13 and 15. I've been there before, so I know that's when they grow up and they become young ladies and they think different, they act different, and we still making it. She still love her daddy, and I try to communicate with her. Sometimes it's not as easy as I'd hoped, but we good. I think we good. I pray we good. If God is hearing my prayer, we gonna stay good, because I know how important it is.
Okay. So what do you think like the most important thing as a father you can do to kind of just shape the psychosocial development of the girl? So she is ready for the world. She is ready for marriage, family structure, and she
Right.
understands what a healthy relationship is.
I think the most important thing, one of the most important thing, I won't say the most important, but one of the most important things is I want my children, boys and girls, to know that I am in love with their mother.
Hmm.
You know, not just love, or I'm not stuck, or I'm not there because of the children, or that old saying is cheaper to keep her. I want my children to know that I am in love with their mother. I don't get that right all the time either, but I don't. I want my children to understand that when a man makes a mistake, he apologizes. He tries to rectify that mistake. He don't. I don't get caught up in my ego that I was right all the time, and you just got to deal with it. No, if I make a mistake, I want to say I'm sorry immediately. The minute I realize it, I don't take pride in making mistakes and hoping nobody notices. I want them to notice that I am the type of person that will try to rectify that mistake, and get them to understand, dad, whether it's with the wife, my sons, or my daughters, that they know dad loves you enough to say I'm sorry. And I think that's important. And communicate, to stay open and honest about what's going on. I think that is the most important.
Okay. I do want to talk about this youngest one a little bit, right? Because
Hmm.
she's in the most critical stage of development that there is. The
Absolutely.
teenage
Yeah.
years is the worst, because I grew up without my father, and I can
Yeah.
remember just reflecting back to my teenage years. I may have been maybe 13, 14 years old where I started questioning the existence of my father and questioning the whereabouts, because I started to understand,
Right.
like, okay, something happened between my mom and my dad, and that's how I got here, right?
Exactly. Right.
Just the
Right.
basic
Right. You said
biology
something happened.
of it, right? It had to be
Hmm.
another person involved to create me. Who is he? Where is
Absolutely.
he? Um, so, and that's the teenage year. That's the adolescent period. That's when girls start they feeling themselves. They going through puberty. They start looking at boys.
Absolutely.
Um, prom, going to high school. I mean, it's a hot mess. Teenage girls are a hot mess.
Oh,
Now, are you that
hold
crazy
on. Let
dad?
me check if my phone is on decline. Okay. There
No.
we
Now, are
go.
you
Oh
that
God.
crazy dad though?
What'd you say, sweetheart?
No, I said, are you that crazy
I'm
dad?
here. What'd you?
I can't hear you. Oh, shoot. All right. I don't know. It looks like he is frozen. However, when we're talking about the psychosocial development of a young girl, it's very important to really focus on that adolescent period. The adolescent period in the development of a young girl is the most important, is the most crucial, is that time where, as I stated, she started feeling herself, she started liking boys. Um, I don't know. She started liking boys. She want to go out on her first date. Um, what is she attracted to? Who is she attracted to? And we often talk about the Oedipus complex, right? With
Hmm.
Freud, when he states that a little boy is subconsciously attracted to the mother sexually, and you can go read up on that. I'm paraphrasing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. I'm slightly familiar with
yeah, but we really don't talk about the Electra complex, where
it. Hmm.
Freud says that it's the opposite with girls, where girls are to be subconsciously sexually attracted to their father, and not in a perversion, freaky type of way, but more or less like, hey, I want to date my dad. Um, I want to marry my dad. I want to marry someone like my dad.
Hmm.
And oftentimes,
Right,
when we're
right,
going through that stage, that puberty stage, and going through high school, early college years, early adulthood, this is when it gets real. But like before you kind of blanked off or whatever, I would say like, are you that crazy dad right now? Because
You know what?
is she in high school or about to go to high school?
Yeah, she's going to high school. She's graduating the 8th grade. And we used
Oh,
to tease her, my youngest son would tease her and threaten to kill any boy that ever came looking for her or asking about her or calling her. And I just recently had that conversation when it was just me and her. Nobody was there but me and her. And I pulled her to the side and I explained to her that was a joke. I told her it's natural that you got to grow up. I'm not very fond of it, but I know it's going to happen and I have to be prepared for it. And I explained to her, I'm not going to scare your little boyfriends. I'm not going to kill anybody, but I want you to know that I want you to have a positive relationship with whomever you choose. And I want them to be respectful of you, and I want them to be protectors and providers. And I want to be able to call him son. I want to be able to have a good relationship with him so he knows you got my baby, because both of my older daughters are both taller than me. And it doesn't matter how tall they get, I still see them as those little bitty babies running around the house. So I told her, I want to have a son. I don't want to think that I'm losing you when you get married. I want to feel like I'm gaining another son. I want to have a close relationship, as close as she wants it to be, with her husband, her children. And, just I want to be a positive influence on them in such a way that she knows if you got a good husband, I'm all for it. I don't want to. I used to joke and tell her that I was the only boyfriend she was gonna have, and all that. And she couldn't get a boyfriend until I was dead and gone. But I just told her, I mean, a matter of weeks ago, that Daddy been joking for 14 years. I told her I will be the proudest father in the world to walk you down the aisle for a positive man. I will be the greatest father. I'll be the proudest father in the world to be able to do that, because I want to be able to know that she's going to be protected and provided for. I'm not trying to kill nobody. I don't know whose son coming, but I'm gonna be on it. But I ain't gonna kill him.
you know what I mean? So how does she respond to that?
You know what? She's very quiet. She don't talk a whole lot unless she wants something. But
Okay.
I think she understood. I think she kind of gave a sigh of relief too. I think she was kind of like, you know, Dad ain't as crazy as he been pretending. And I try to explain to her, as dads, we have to pretend to be crazy to just sometimes scare these crazy boys off that don't have good intentions. But I told her, I'm not. That's not me. I told her, I love you. I trust in your decisions, and if I don't think you are making the right decision, I'm gonna speak on it. But at the same time, you're the one that's got to deal with it. So I'm gonna play the back seat role and chill out, and and hope that I raise her right enough to make the right decision.
Mm-hmm. And it's very important also, that um you have this roadmap in your house. Like
Hmm.
you have a wife and you treat your wife with dignity and respect and you treat her as a queen. And it's important that your daughters see that.
Right.
Yeah. So I want to kind of shift over a little to the boys. Like what is your role and your responsibility um with raising your boys to treat women in a certain type of way? Like how do you do that?
Well, my youngest son, he's still with me. My oldest son, he's moved out, but my youngest son, he's 17. He'll be 18 in January, and um, we don't. Our women don't touch trash at home. They don't open the door for themselves. They don't carry anything heavy. I want him to know, as a man, it is his job to provide and protect. And I reiterate that all the time, and I make sure he's on that. He don't always get it right, just like I don't get it right. And we're all entitled to mistakes, but I make sure that he knows. I make sure that he knows what his responsibility is. And sometimes he's too far. Sometimes he thinks he's dad, but I have to let him know. No, you're there to run back up. Mom is the queen. I'm the king, mom is the queen, but you just the prince. And you have to run back up for mom. Mom is still supersedes you by a million miles. You have to not try to tell her what to do, but let her tell you what to do. And I tell him the way to become a great leader is to become a great follower first. So I
Mm,
tell him that mom is our queen and my youngest daughter is our princess, and we have to provide and protect and sometimes just be an ear because I know we both talk too much sometimes. And my wife reminds me of that. So I tell them sometimes we just have to be an ear. And when they want to vent, just say,
right.
yeah, I know you're right. Yep. I got you. What do you need from me? Do you
Rather
need
not.
advice?
Okay.
Do you need advice? Do you need help? Or do you need me to just shut up and listen? And I'm still learning. So I don't want to pretend like I got it because I don't. I'm still working. Like they say, God is still working on me. He ain't done with me. He ain't done with me yet.
Okay. So, how is the relationship between your son and your daughter?
They love each other to death, and they act like sometimes they're gonna kill each other. But you
Hmm.
better not say anything to one of them because the other one gonna jump on. It is so funny sometimes. She's very protective of him. He just got his real first job. I mean, he's worked for people at the church and stuff like that. But his real first paycheck job, he got it. And when he first got it, she wanted to know was they treating her brother right, and she don't have to come up there. And I was like, look, you about as big as a baby bird. You only 13. What you gonna do? But she's really very protective of him, and he's super protective of her. Sometimes I have to tell him because I don't never want her to get the image that she thinks or she believes we think she's helpless. I know that's a big thing with women today. They want to be independent and they want to make sure that you don't think they're helpless. And I want him to understand that too. That she's not helpless. She's just so valuable to us that we have to do certain things. We have to make sure that she's okay, and we have to be careful how we help people the way they want you to help them instead of the way you want to help them. That's what I kind of try to make him understand. Don't try to force help on them. Ask them what do you need and then provide exactly that.
Okay. All right. So, you know what? You just said something that's taking me to my next point. This was not even, I was not even going to go here, but now I am because you
Okay.
brought it up.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this new, well, it's not new, but like this whole Miss Independent era, the modern woman versus the traditional woman? Nothing in between is one way or another. Like, what are
Okay.
your thoughts on that?
It's a little different for me. I grew up in a different time, and sometimes you have to accept the fact that times have changed because upon one point in time, we weren't allowed to do a lot of the things we do. So the
Mhm.
people who were in that time who thought, well, black people can't do this, black people shouldn't do that, shouldn't be interracial marriage, and we have to learn that as time changed, we have to learn about ourselves and apply it directly to everyday life. I believe that I want, anybody who wouldn't want their daughter to be independent, to me, is not thinking properly. Because what if she doesn't find the right type of man? That means she's helpless. I want her to be independent, but I want her to be blessed enough that she finds a man that is so well rooted in God and just what he needs to do, that he loves her so much that he provides just about everything she needs, and that she wakes up and says, well, I'm going to provide everything she needs, and they work as a team. you know I think sometimes men and women can be too independent, and it may cause trouble in a relationship or keep them at odds. But I want her to be intelligent, I want her to be educated, I want her to have class and grace, but I also want her to have so much going for herself that some man recognizes how valuable she is and says, hey, you get to sit down now because I got you. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean work wise or education wise, just that she doesn't have to worry and stress herself because the world is stressful. The world is very stressful. And I think that if a man comes into your life and says, hey, you can chill, sit down, I got you, baby. And that's what I want for my daughter. I want to be able to she's my daughter regardless, but I want to be able to call him son. And if he's not a protector and provider for my baby girl, he can't be my son. So I'm hoping that she receives that. And I'm trying to show her that with her mom, and I'm hoping I'm getting there. If not, I'm gonna keep working that. It's a steady job to a learning process. That's better to say, a learning process for me to get it right. And I'm trying. I've been working on it 20 years, and I hope I got 200 more. I might just get it right.
200 more. Is she responding? Is she responding to you at all? Like, is she starting to like boys? Or, because I know the junior prom is coming up, you were telling me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. She is, and then we've talked about it, and a lot of it. I mean, she's opening up a little. And I ask her about boys, and I tell her, I give it a dad talk, and then I give it a parent talk, and I think those are two different talks. The dad talk is, um, not necessarily true, but it's just what we have to do. I think sometimes you have to allow these young women to know and believe that, at least now at this young impressionable age, that sometimes men only want one thing, and it's your job. I know it's going to happen, but it's your job to make sure that that situation is a long way off, hopefully. And
Hmm.
when it is, it's the right person. It's the person that you love. They love you back, and you guys have a mission to be successful and be in love and do all the positive things in life. Don't just get excited about a little boy who got on the new jeans because he didn't even buy them. His mom and daddy bought them. So if you're gonna be infatuated with some little boy because of what he wear, be infatuated with his mom and dad because he ain't done nothing. So I want them to look at a person's character, and I even my son, I tell him, the little girl you meet at 17, 9 times out of 10, if not worse, you won't know her when you're 35. You're going to experience different people at different times, and protect your heart, because you're gonna get your heart broken. I know I had mine broken, so just don't think that the first little boy you meet is gonna be your husband, because that is highly unlikely. So uh, it's like Pastor said, remain in your season. You know,
Mm.
if this is your season, if you are in the place where being in love is hard sometimes, and it requires a lot of responsibility. If you don't have the responsibility, you can't be in love. And that's just my take on it. Maybe somebody else might see something different. But if you're not responsible enough to say that I will suffer for this person and they will suffer for me, to make sure that we, sacrifice, that we can make a good go at this, I don't think you're in love. There's puppy love, there's teenage love, but I'm talking about love, where you say whatever comes is what. If this person, every bill that comes in the mailbox, I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm not worried about the newest Jordans. I'm gonna pay these bills because this person I love needs a place to sleep, eat, and survive. And I think that's something that a lot of kids get mixed up. They get it and I did too. At 16, 17, you swear you're gonna be with this person for the rest of your life. 6 months from now, you don't know where they are. And sometimes you're happy you don't know where they are. So, so
Oh my
I just
God.
want them to know.
That is powerful, because like as you're talking, I'm just thinking about, you know, the effect of the lack of the father in the home,
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
and how she ends up later in life,
Mhm.
like looking for love in all the wrong places, right?
Oh
Because
my God.
it
Yes.
because seriously, initially, like, we all want love, but if you don't experience it firsthand at home,
Mhm.
you don't know what it is that you're looking for. You don't know what it is that you're searching for. So oftentimes, just the smallest amount of attention, um,
Yes.
you think is it. You think it's love, and you start to
Yes.
envision your happily
Mhm.
ever after. You didn't pre-plan
Yes.
your whole wedding with somebody
Mhm.
in your head, and then the next week they ghost you.
The next week you find out that they could care less about what's going on with you or the two of you together. They don't care. I mean, being a
Mhm.
man, we have a short attention span, very short attention span. And a lot of women don't realize, and I want my daughter to realize, that you have to be able to recognize those signs very early. because time is valuable, and we are only blessed with so much time on this earth. And I don't want to dedicate 2, 3 years, 5 years to find out that this person didn't really care about me. So you got to know. And my thing is, like I tell my son too, I'm always on him too. I tell him the person who's meant for you may not be meant forever. It may be just for the next 6 months, the next year. Who knows what it is, you know? But you'll know because they only want to be around you. That's it. It's not about where we going, how much money we spending, or with the man, how much sex we having. You know, it's sometimes that can be a problem or an issue. You know, it's sometimes somebody just want to sit there and hold your hand, and you'll know. Like you said, if you've been shown it, you should know. I want my kids to know I'm in love with their mama. We run around the house tackling each other, laughing and playing like two little kids. And I want them to understand that that's sometimes my kids is they my daughter is taller than her mother now, and all my other children are taller than me. She's the only one I might have that's less shorter than me, and they all get in our bed sometimes. I mean, they get in our bed and will not get out, and I enjoy it because I know that as they get older, they won't do that. So it's like I want to watch movies with them. I want to spend time with them. I let them see things on movies that I want to explain to them or ask them if they have questions. You know, we try to protect them, but these days, a lot of times you have to be more open with children than you might really have done 10, 20 years ago, simply because the world has changed. So I talk a lot to them, and I love when they ask me a question, and I'll be honest with them. Sometimes it embarrasses mom. You know, I try not to use street terms, but at the same time, it embarrasses me too. But I tell them the real deal because you're going to hear it at school. You're going to hear it other places. And I want you to get the real deal. You know, I want you to get the real understanding that sex is a beautiful thing, but at a young age, it's not. It's really not. I mean, it can cause so many problems. You unwanted. I mean, not unwanted, but teen pregnancy. Just timing, you know. And I tell my son, I'm on him too, not just like my daughter. I tell my son, I better not catch you with your pants off. And when he was younger, he used to look at me like, "What you mean? I'm a boy." But now he understands, and he's telling me all the time, "Dad, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. I'm gonna do it when I'm ready." And he says he wants to. If he decides to have children, he say he want to have children around 40. I told him, "Well, I don't know what the women you date gonna say, but they might not want to wait that long." But I told him I understand where you are, and that might change when you get a little bit older. But I tell him at 17, it sure ain't the deal. That's definitely not the opportunity you want to present for yourself and, you know, some young girl and some baby that you may not be able to provide for properly because you're so young. So I tell him, take your time. You know, you see some little girl you like, you know, go get some ice cream. Don't go to the house. Don't bring her to my house. Go get some ice cream.
You said don't
Watch
bring
her
it to
play.
my house either, right?
No, no, absolutely. Don't bring her here. And I told him, when you get some little girl you like, I want to meet her mother. I want to meet her father because I want to tell them both. If you catch him in your house, bust his head. If I catch your daughter in my house and we ain't home, I'm going to bust his head. And I told her, me and her, if she has a father, which I pray she does, because I know that means it's just going to be a better situation. I told him we both going to bust your head, me and him. And we're going to hold you down and let the mamas kick you. We're not playing that because you're a boy. We're gonna let you run the streets and don't care what you do.
Okay.
Because the way I see it, a man is I know a woman has responsibility, but the man has more responsibility because he can make more children. Woman typically can come home with one. If he got 2 or 3 girlfriends, he can come home with 2 or 3 at one time. He can be a 17-year-old Nick Cannon if he ain't paying attention. And I don't
At
want
the
it.
same time.
At the same time, exactly. And all of them showing up on my doorstep. And I told him, you gonna be a working dog. You gonna go to work, and every penny you gonna get in them kids. Every penny. I told him, you gonna wish you hadn't if you do it. And he's been following Dad's lead. He kind of, you know, he knows I definitely wouldn't call my children mistakes, but I did have them too early.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the first one. But I told him, you know, that I don't want that for you. I want you to be prepared because that's what it's all about. Preparation.
Preparation. You know,
Preparation.
we live in a, how can I word this? Um, it's the F boy society right now.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, there's a lot of damaged men. Um, with daughters, that's pretty much just going out doing whatever it is that he want to do, how
Hmm.
he want to do it, um, and damaging their daughters. And
Absolutely.
then we have the baby Cardi B's. This
Hmm.
is the we have the baby Cardi B's out here, um, because of the inconsistency of home life, the home balance
Hmm.
life. It almost
Yes,
doesn't exist anymore. And I want to applaud you because like your way of thinking and living is very rare in today's times. We don't get the traditional living, the traditional marriage. I'm gonna
hmm,
raise kids right. I'm gonna make sure that the kids know pretty much their role and their place in society. And
right,
it's
right.
nothing to take away from the woman saying that you can't go get the bag, but you still deserve to be treated like a princess with a bag or not.
That's right.
Because
That's right. I
the
think
argument has become now that why do women want to be treated like a queen after they demanded equal rights?
mhm.
Because I can.
I think a woman having equal rights is not an issue at all because in this day and age, like you say, men, we got some issues, baby. We got some issues. And a
Mm-hmm.
woman may never find the right man. What is she supposed to do? Sit and just wait and take what she can get? I don't believe that either. I don't see anything wrong with being educated, being into your own business, into your own thing. But at the same time, you have to know what it is to be a wife as well. You have to know what it is to say that, okay, now that I got you, I can slow down a little bit, or I don't have you alleviate some of that pressure. From a man should come to a woman's life and make it better, definitely not make it worse. But if it even stays the same, what is it all for? I want you to be able to not work 60 hours a week. If you got a man in your life and you working 60 hours, he better be working 80. That's just the way I see it, because he should not want you to continue to work that hard. I know I wouldn't want my wife to work that hard at all. I'm gonna do what I have to do. Now I'm an entrepreneur, but I would do what I have to do just for her to be able to sit up and welcome me when I come in the door, or uh um you know provide that emotional support I need from the stress I deal with. I don't need you to come home with stress too, and now we can't relate to each other. So, and that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, that's what I want. I want my wife to her life to be so easy that when I come in the door, I smile because she's already there waiting for me and smiling at the same time. I want to provide enough that she feels relaxed enough that she's not stressed out by matters of what's going on in the world today. That's honestly how I feel. So
So
it's
she don't
just a
have no
little old. Would you say a little what?
so she don't have no attitude. You got to eliminate that attitude.
Listen, baby, I wasn't gonna say it, but you said it. I hope she ain't watching and take a break from this part. But yeah, I mean, being a woman, I'm sure it's hard. Being a mother is hard. I mean, women have stresses too. I know sometimes I think it's just me, but women have stresses. I get on the kids a lot of times about, cleaning up and providing, and understanding that mom is stressed out. Just being a wife and a mother is stressful as well as it is being a husband and a father. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. I'm talking to her or at her through what we're saying right now. I want her to hear that and understand. She's not here, but I hope and pray she's watching. If not, I'm gonna have to show it to her, and maybe she'll accept it a little bit better. But I want her. I want her life with me to be better than it was without me. That's my mission.
Mm-hmm. And it's important, because this is what your kids are seeing.
Hmm.
This is what your kids are seeing in the home. So the chances of them actually growing up and being in a productive marriage is pretty
Hmm.
good, I would
It's pretty
think.
good. Hopefully,
I
hopefully,
think the
I'm
probability is high.
I'm gonna go home and act right, extra right today. Just talking to you just getting, being able to express myself and hearing your views, I'm gonna go home and be extra nice today, just because I think they deserve. They've earned it, and I want them to have it. I want them to understand that Dad will do anything. If I got to go to the moon, I'm going to the moon for my family. That's just the way. And if I wouldn't have them. I want them to understand that anything that they need, I'm gonna do the best. As long as I'm here, I'm gonna do the best. And even when I ain't here, I'm a sit next to Jesus, and I'm gonna put in a good word for them if I beat them there, and we still gonna work it out. As long as there's a God in heaven, that I'm gonna provide what I can and do more than I can. I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Do you believe in gender roles?
You know what? I heard that on the radio today. I do because, and it doesn't. My mother taught me, God rest her soul. My mother taught me how to sew, how to wash my own clothes, and how to cook. And I believe that it's beautiful. And I didn't understand why. I remember that conversation when she was trying to teach me and my brothers that. I said, Mama, that's a woman's job. I got to look like you would never believe. And she told me, she said, I want you to understand. After she got rid of the ugly look she had, she told me, she said, I want you to understand something. You may want a woman, but you will never, ever need a one. Never need one. Because she said, a man who can't do for himself is not a man. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. But I believe that I don't want my wife cutting no grass. I don't want her carrying out no trash. But I want her to know what it is just in case she has to do it. But I don't want her to have to do it. I'm going to do it all. I'm fighting all the burglars. I'm doing all that. But I don't mind cooking, washing dishes, stuff like that. So I believe in gender roles, but I don't think it's your role. I think it's just what some of it's instinct. I think that's instinct. Like a woman knows when a baby cries, she know what the baby wants. I just know the baby crying. That's it. And I'm running around trying to pull my hair out, the little bit of hair I got left. But a woman knows, and God has blessed her with that, just like God has blessed me with a provide and protect instinct for me to do whatever it takes to make sure that they're okay. So I think gender roles are good in many ways, but I don't think you should be bound to them. I don't think you have to do anything because you're a woman. I don't think you have to do anything because you're a man. I think we just need to recognize what's easier, what comes naturally, and do that. That's what I think. Like my son, I don't carry nothing heavy. He's 17 and he do 300-400 push-ups a day. He carries everything heavy. I very rarely do anything because I didn't earn the right to kind of, if he needs help, I will. But if he can do it, that's all you, buddy. Mr. Weightlifter, that is all you.
Do it on them push-ups, right? So he can handle
exactly, it. Yeah. Exactly. Go ahead and do it.
Go hook that up, right?
Exactly. Go ahead, because I did it. I tell him I carried you. You can definitely carry a bag. Or you can take the trash out. Come on now. He'll be 18 soon, but I'm trying to raise him to the point to where I want him to know how to be useful. I want him to know how to provide a service for those he loves. And be man enough to show it. Be man enough to say, I got it. Don't work. Nope, I got it. And that's what I want him to do. And I want the women in my family to do the same thing. When a man come in, if he tired from work and you a homemaker, ain't nothing wrong with having him a hot meal. Ain't nothing wrong. But just the opposite too. If you got a job and you tired, he can make you a meal. I mean, what's the difference? It ain't no big deal. Don't sit on your hands because you a man. That's exactly what my mother taught me, and that's how I feel with my family. Do everybody help everybody. That's what we're gonna do. Everybody try to provide somebody with something else.
So you talked about your oldest daughter. You said she has a daughter, right?
No, my oldest daughter has 2 children, 2 boys.
Yes, 2 boys.
And my middle daughter has 1 daughter.
Okay, your middle daughter. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how was your relationship with her? Like
my relationship with her.
Because like earlier you said, like you was 19 when you had your first. So like each child, you step your game up. You step it up a few notches. So
I tried.
How did you develop as a man with your middle child?
Well, by the time my middle child came along, I was looking at making the same mistakes again, and I changed my life because of her.
Okay.
And I've tried to do better. I didn't always make it, but we are closer now than we ever were. And sometimes she just called just to check on her daddy, and I'd be like she was when she was 2 years old, and she would come running in that room. I still see her as being my little girl, even though she's got her own little girl. And um, I just got off the phone with her seconds before we came on, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is, because I think that as she gets older, she's willing to listen a little bit more. She understands a little bit more. She's a mother now, so she's dealing with a relationship with the father, and I think she understands more of what some of the problems me and her mother had when we were younger, because she's in that position now. So she sees, and I can tell something. She don't always say it, but sometimes I can tell when she tells me stuff. She be looking at me like, you tried to tell me,
Mm-hmm.
you tried. And it's a beautiful thing. We are very close, and I only see us getting closer and closer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's important too because now she has a daughter. So is
Right,
she
right, exactly.
looking at, is she cautious on how she raises her daughter, or just kind of thinking
she
things
she's a
a little
she's a
different?
she's a great mom. My granddaughter has a mind of her own. Sometimes she have to get after her because she just like her mama. But they have a great relationship, and they come over quite a bit. And we love to laugh and hang. She's quite the pistol, my granddaughter. But her
Mhm.
mama keep her in check. She don't let her go wild. She let her know in a minute. And it'd be funny because I'm looking like she tell me, Dad, I don't know where she get this from, and I be looking at her like, you don't know. She got it right from you. She is your daughter just like you were mine. But it's we love each other, and we're gonna see each other tomorrow and hang out. All of us hang out tomorrow and go have brunch or lunch or something she was talking about. And I just it's a way for me to try and um make up for maybe what I lacked when I was younger.
Mhm.
Trying to be that dad that understands and be that ear, and and sometimes the advice giver too, because I'm careful. I don't try to force no advice on her because she's very strong-willed. My daughter is. So I kind of just say what I'm gonna say and move on, and hope she takes it with a grain of salt and understands. And I think she do most times. I think she gets it. She's As she gets older, it seems like it's easier for me to talk to her and kind of explain things to her as far as what I think she might want to try. I can't say might want to do. I say try this and see if it works. I got to be careful of my language sometimes. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. So it sounds like, daddy daughter dates are important.
Yes, absolutely,
How often do you
absolutely.
do daddy daughter dates?
I kind of do that with my older daughter more than my younger daughter, because she's at that point now where she's always in the phone or on the computer with her friends. But I have
Mhm.
told her recently we have to do that. We have to leave mom and my youngest son at home, and me and her have to go out. And I've told her, even if we don't talk, we're just gonna go have something to eat or go for a ride and listen to some music, because I want her to know that I care enough to be there, regardless of whether you feel comfortable enough in telling me things. I still want her to know that I'm there, and let's just spend time together. And sometimes at home she'll come, I'm laying there watching TV, and she'll come and lay right up under me. And sometimes she won't say a word, and I just let it go. I just love that she's there. She'll look up to see the expression on my face, and I'm all teeth. And that's our relationship. Sometimes it's not necessarily talking, it's just being together.
Okay. Because you said she's not much of a talker anyway. She doesn't talk a lot, right?
No, she don't talk that much. No. Even with her friends, I've noticed she's kind of quiet. She don't talk a lot, but sometimes I try to get her to talk. Like when they come home from school, I ask them a lot of times, what was the best thing that happened at school today, and what was the worst thing that happens at school today? Because then I can kind of gauge, one versus the other. How good was the good thing? Did it make whatever was bad, if anything bad, did it make that a little bit less? A less of a concern. And a lot of times they wanted to, oh, how was school? Oh, it was fine. And I'd be like, no, you want to do better than that. Tell me what good happened and what bad
Like
happened.
detail. You want to know what's up.
Exactly right. 10 or 15 minutes. And a lot of times I tell them, we're not watching TV tonight. We're just going to sit here and talk. And the longer you don't talk, the longer we're going to sit here. So you might as well start talking now. And then they'll tell me, oh, well, a kid in school did this, or the teacher
Mhm.
said this. I didn't understand. I just give them opportunities to talk. And usually it works. 99 times out of 100, it works. And we talk about something. And I can leave them with a small piece of old man wisdom, I call it, and then let them go on ahead and be kids.
Okay.
Those little lessons that might take 2 or 3 minutes, and then they go on and do whatever else they're doing.
Yeah, but it seems like they're picking up those old man lessons, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Even if
yeah,
you're
they
not
do.
saying anything, like it seems as though like they're absorbing it. They're taking it
You
all.
know what? I think they absorb more than they like to admit, because
Mhm.
sometimes I hear, like, I'm gonna say something I put on Facebook a while ago, and I made a joke out of it. I say, if you come in the door and you hear your teenage children singing Earth, Wind, and Fire, they might have been raised right. And I hear them doing that, singing songs that are older than me, because I play them
Okay.
and they have learned to love them. And I think a lot of times that makes me feel close to them. And sometimes we talk about the music they listen to and what it's about, and what is this person trying to say. Sometimes I even play dumb. I don't understand certain things, just to have them try to explain, dad, you don't know nothing. And just to see if they're thinking, and it encourages dialogue. I play stupid. Oh, I don't know who that guy is, and I know who it is because I might have seen it 20 times today while I was at school. Just to open that dialogue. I don't say I know
Okay.
everything. Sometimes I let them think they schooling me.
Okay. Okay. And then that's when they start talking and opening up and stuff like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes they think Dad, you don't know nothing. You old, and I'm like,
You
well,
all
yeah, I am, and sitting up there lying through my teeth. I already know what you're talking about because I looked it up on Google, or I didn't watch BET and saw it already. But I want to see sometimes what their viewpoint is. What
okay.
what what they think about it.
Okay. Okay, cool. You know what? Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Wow, wow.
We are out of time. It has been an hour already,
Been an
and
hour already.
it's been an hour already. I think this was a great conversation as we go into Father's Day, and we just look,
Absolutely.
you know, the role that the father really plays in a girl's life.
Hmm.
Whether it's negative or positive, because it's
Right.
not always every little girl is not going to grow up and have that experience that your daughters have,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like me, for instance, like I'm all over the place because I didn't have a dad,
Hmm.
so not a stepdad. I mean, nothing, so it was
But you know what? It,
out.
it made you a powerful woman, and I think that sometimes we don't always get what we think we need, but
Mm-hmm.
God send you what you need, and you are making such a difference in a lot of these young women's lives, that
Thank
it
you.
it it's it shows that, like they say, God didn't put a cross on you that you couldn't bear. So maybe you had to deal with a little difficulty to be wise enough and care enough to help so many others, because you are helping so many people. It's really, it make me feel like I got to get on the ball watching you. You inspire
Thank
me. You do.
you.
You inspire me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you want to drop your info for people to hit you up.
Okay. I'm Gym Class on Facebook. JIM, 2 words. JIMCLASS on Facebook. Matter of fact, my profile picture is now the flyer for this show we did today. I want to make sure people saw that. And
Thank
on
you.
Instagram, oh yeah, I got to do that. On Instagram, it is I am Minister J, just the letter J. IMMINISTER J, and that's on Instagram. Although I'm not on there that much, but I need to be.
I didn't even know you were on Instagram. I want to.
I'm very rarely, very rare. But I
Oh,
gotta do better, because everybody tell me that Facebook. You know what they say? The kids, they say
oh,
Facebook is for
for
old
old
people.
people. Oh yeah, you got to go
Instagram
to
is
TikTok now. TikTok is where
right.
it's at.
Exactly. I got to do that too. But yeah, that's where they can find me. And if people want to follow me or send me a friend request, I'm open to all friend requests as long as people are positive. I don't want to look on your page and see nothing that's a little too risque. So I'm there. Hit me up one way or the other. Follow me on Instagram or send me a request on Facebook.
Hit them up, y'all. You got a website or no?
No, I'm working on one at this point, and I gotta, the Airbnb thing is really got me busy. So
No, let's
once I get,
talk about that. Talk about that. Let people know, like,
listen, I would advise. It's such a complicated thing. I can't go too much, but I would advise everybody out here, if you are looking to be an entrepreneur, dive into that Airbnb thing. It has been grateful. It's been a blessing for me and my family. It's going to continue to be, and you wouldn't believe what it does. I mean, you would not believe the income, and it'll put you in a whole nother tax bracket. Believe me, it's easier than it looks. Sometimes it can be slightly stressful, as any entrepreneurial endeavor, but it's a beautiful thing. Trust me that way. One day we're gonna have to talk about that, and then I can get a little bit more into it. But it's a beautiful thing. The person who put me up on it, I owe them a debt of gratitude because it changed my life. So if somebody want to hit me up on Instagram or Facebook about that, we can talk about that too.
oh, I'm gonna hit you up.
Absolutely. You my little sister. We got to get you involved. We got to do that, and it might be something that we can kind of put into kind of your program too. You know what I'm saying? What you do for the young ladies, we might be able to use that in such a way. Maybe a little broadcasting from there, or have some meetings there. Bring the young girls out and just teach them and show them another way too. You know what it is. We gotta breathe on them too. We gotta start them early instead of everybody trying to be an entrepreneur at 50. Let's be entrepreneurs at 20 or 15.
Yeah, that, but
yeah,
I got it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll do that. We're gonna get together on that too.
All right. And again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me and to just dive into this conversation. And I know I'll talk to you, and hopefully I'll see you Sunday. But if I don't, happy Father's Day.
Absolutely. I'm gonna do my best, baby. And I love you. Thank you for asking me. I hope we touched somebody's heart and gave them something. Some of these brothers out here and some of these sisters that may know how important it is to keep the father in these girls' lives at all costs, without putting themselves at risk or just in bad spirits. If you got the father of your children, your ex-husband, whatever, he wants to be a father, allow him to do that. If he's the type of father he's supposed to be. Put your personal feelings aside and allow him to be a father to these girls.
Because it's important.
Absolutely. It's the most important thing out here.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I will be back next week, next Thursday, same time, same place. Make sure you continue to check me out. Go to ivythecode.com. And you can follow me across all social media platforms there. But make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow me because I have more great videos on YouTube for you guys to check out. So until then, y'all, happy Thursday and peace out.
Bye, everybody. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.